So today we'll start with the myocardial infarction, ECG changes, and as we all know, STEMI and NSTEMI are the two broad classifications which we do for myocardial infarction. So this STEMI and NSTEMI are basically, these nomenclatures are given based on the two findings, that is like two important things. One is on the ECG changes which we see here. So if there is a ST segment elevation in the ECG, then we call it as STEMI. If there is non-elevation, there is no elevation of ST segment, or ST segment is normal or it is depressed but not elevated, then we call it as NSTEMI. This is the first thing which we use for naming the or categorizing the myocardial infarction, STEMI and non-STEMI. That is NSTEMI. Then second one is the management protocol. Okay, management protocol is totally different for both of them. Okay, so what is there is, in case of STEMI, what you have to do is you have to immediately go for either thrombolysis or perfusion. So you have to use thrombolysis like your streptokinase, or you have to use something like your PCI, percutaneous coronary interventions you have to do. That is, you have to subject the person for angiography, and then you have to go for making like the person's angioplasty, you have to go it. So somebody is having their mics on. I am trying to turn off, they are coming again and again on. Ganesh, YN. I'm not able to mute. Okay. See, this is one is thrombolysis, or you have to do something called as percutaneous coronary intervention, STEMI. Okay, this is the one. In case of NSTEMI, most of the time what we do is we do not require any thrombolysis as such. It is just the anticoagulation which we do, and we will eventually take up for percutaneous coronary intervention. But there is no entity like thrombolysis, which is the most emergency treatment for STEMI. In case of STEMI, there is what is happening is, I'll show you here. See, what happens is, this is the, for example, thickness of your myocardium. Okay, if entire thing is in infarction, that is transmural infarction, then we call it as STEMI in ECG. If there is only subendocardial infarction or ischemia, then we call it as NSTEMI. So this actually requires an emergency management, like you have to revascularization is required. Revascularization is required because if you do not give immediate intervention, then the whole of the myocardium would have been damaged and it will go in for infarction, then it will be non-functional. So there are so many other complications like your mechanical complication and electrical complication of MI or heart failure. Maybe there is a rupture of this wall, or there is aneurysm formation, or poor contraction leading to reduced ejection fraction. It may be a site for your origin of new arrhythmias. So you have to immediately revascularize the STEMI, whereas in NSTEMI also you do the revascularization, but it is not as urgent as STEMI. You can heparinize the patient, anticoagulation, antiplatelets you can give, then you can eventually subject the patient for your coronary intervention. But it is not always like you should wait and do. You can even, for this patient also, you can immediately take. And there are some conditions which I'll be telling next in the ECGs, where initially there may be presentation like NSTEMI only. The ECG changes are like this. But gradually over a period of 1 or 1.5 hours, it will become completely STEMI. So the ST segment changes will go from NSTEMI changes to STEMI changes. That's why it is more important. At first presentation, what is there, either it is STEMI or NSTEMI. If NSTEMI, you should be monitoring in the initial phases if the patient is continuously symptomatic, if he is going for any other dynamic changes. Dynamic changes means each hour or each minute whichever you are taking ECG, they are having different waveforms or changing type of ST segments are there. So this is the most important thing here. Now this is the basically ECG how we will going to get it. See, this is like your elevation. See, there is a plaque which has been formed. Okay, there is a plaque here, and that plaque has ruptured and it has led to formation of a thrombus. Atherogenic site has been formed. So if there is a partial occlusion of the lumen, so half of that is even permitting your blood flow, that is going to cause a ST segment depression like this here. This is the ST segment depression you are going to get. So this is your NSTEMI. So this doesn't actually require immediately like you have to thrombolize or immediately, no. You can have some time and you can do it little bit, you can give a relaxation here. But you should eventually intervene. But whereas in case of STEMI, this is STEMI. See, there is ST elevation. This is the elevation here. So this is the STEMI. Okay. So here there is a complete occlusion. Immediately you have to inject something like streptokinase, STK, we give you a short form, streptokinase, or you will use urokinase, or you use alteplase or riteplase. Okay, tissue plasminogen activators like riteplase or alteplase will be using. Using these, you are going to lyse this, or you are putting a stent like this and you are opening up this and removing the clot. Okay, that will bring the reperfusion and it will prevent the further myocardial damage. So this is most important because the intervention is emergency required here. So these are the different types of ST segment elevation you see in a patient with acute STEMI, that is the transmural myocardial infarction. This is the baseline. Okay, this is the elevation is there. This is one type, this is second type, this is third type, this is fourth type. So these are the different types of patterns or types of patterns of ST segment elevation which you are going to see in case of STEMI. Now this is the, like here, it will show different patterns in different leads and may appear convex, concave or coved. So many different types of pattern are there. See here A, it is almost like curved up. This is sloping down. This is flat. This is also flat. See what has happened here is, here the negative and directly it has come positive. Here positive, negative and then it has come. See some amount of morphological change. Here it appears more of a J point elevation only. Yeah, right. This is like this. And here this R wave had gone up and it did not come down only. See something like here, same type like this both are, but here it directly went for a slope, but whereas here it went up and it came down. So all these are different patterns, and these arrows are being shown at J point, 1, 2, 3. These are the J point which are having elevations. So these are the different patterns you should be able to identify and recognize them. And this is the classical ST elevation MI, that is STEMI. In case of STEMI, what are the changes which you are going to get? So initially there will be a tall or hyperacute T waves will be there, and most of the time we describe them as symmetrically they will be there most of the time, but this is not that symmetrical. Most of the time they will be symmetrical. What is the normal morphology of T wave is, usually what happens is, like if this is your P, then like if your QRS complex is like this, initially the T wave goes like this and then it comes abruptly like this. So if you draw symmetrically, this side it is like long and then it abruptly comes down. This is a normal T wave morphology. Okay, something like your T wave is like this. So it abruptly it is not like very symmetrical like this. Not symmetrical in case of normal. Normal is asymmetry. Okay, but what happens here is it becomes nearly symmetrical like. So tall tented T waves are present. So initially there will be hyperacute T waves, but J point will be normal here. Then slowly the J point also goes elevation along with the T wave. Then you have a frank, this is the baseline, you have got a frank ST elevation. Slowly the ST elevation comes settling down, then there will be T wave inversions. See, I just read it, giant or hyperacute T waves mark the area of ischemia. Then there will be diminution of the size of the R wave or development of the pathological Q wave. So whatever he wants to tell is here, these are the development of pathological Q waves are started here. So Q wave is negative wave. Okay, and inversion of the T waves, that is T wave inversion in the last. The evolution may ST elevation MI from a hyperacute T wave to the development of pathological Q waves may be completed within 6 hours after the symptom onset, or may evolve slowly over several days. So this change which may occur, for example, if the patient is admitted at 6 a.m. in the morning, I think by the 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon, okay, this much of change might have occurred, or the patient might have admitted on 6 a.m. on 2nd of September, and on 8 p.m. of 10th of September also you may be able to see this. Okay, so changes may vary from hours to days. It may be anything. And one more is here, somebody asking something. Sir, can you mark ST elevation on the diagram? Which one? I don't know it. I'll erase and I'll mark 1 minute. Here it is the normal baseline, only T wave is elevated. Here is the baseline, this is the ST segment which is elevated. This was the J point, arrow mark I am showing you, this is the J point. Here you have the J point. So this much is the elevation again here. And here elevation has come down, slight short elevation we have here. Here almost elevation is not there only. Okay. So initially there was no elevation, slowly elevation increased, decreased, and then T wave inversion. Okay, this is the ST segment elevation which we have. And these are the T waves. See, different types of T waves are there. See, peak T waves they are giving. This is almost like symmetrical T waves. Peak. This is inverted T wave. Okay, this is almost flat T wave, semi-inverted T waves, so different biphasic T waves. These are the different type of T waves are there. Not to remember much here, and we'll go. Okay, in D diagram, T wave symmetrically but deeply inverted. I'm not understanding what somebody is telling. See, I'm explaining here, like we'll see by with examples in the ECG, different types of T waves, where they come and all. See, so many things are there which are normal variants also. You will be next, like we'll see in the real ECGs, you'll come to know. Okay, and what are the ECG criteria for acute MI? So in case of ST elevation, the J point in two contiguous leads with the following cut points. Two leads you have to take, contiguous leads you have to take. That is more than 0.1 millivolt of elevation in all the leads except V2 and V3. And V2 and V3 we have special categories. If you remember this much as this much, if you remember, I think for you more than enough. Okay. See, yesterday somebody was asking why that standardization was done and all. 0.1 millivolt. If there was some abnormality like hypothyroidism, severe emphyema, something, and that was causing your low voltage complexes, the ECGs were appearing small. But according to that miniaturization, if it was meeting 0.1 millivolt criteria, but because of your ECG papers are small, there may be half covering, or like half of the box, small box may be covered. At that time, you can double the standardization, and it is like magnification. Zoom and see the ECG. Same ECG, you can increase the standardization and you can see. And in the patient, for example, if you are having a severe left ventricular hypertrophy or something is there, very big QRS complex and everything is there. So ECG paper is not sufficient. So many times the thin strip of ECG will be there. So that strip of ECG, the QRS complex are going up and down. It is not even covering in the paper. Then reduce the standardization and then make the ECG small, so that the ECG complexes will fit in that ECG paper. Then you are going to see. That's why sometimes standardization may need to be changed to look for the small changes. Okay. So 0.1 millivolt ST elevation is more important for your diagnosis of MI. This one not important for you as such. See, now we'll see what are the changes which you are seeing. ECG sequence with anterior all MI. Okay. See, what is happening here is, see, here you have a ST segment elevation. Over a period of time, ST segment elevation is almost come down and there is a T wave inversion. And over many days or many hours of time, there is a almost nothing with a almost T wave has become flat. The same you can see in AVL. Okay, elevation, then inversion, and here. Okay, the same we will see for, now this is here for anterior leads. Okay, so how do you tell it is a anterior MI? Okay, we'll change it. Okay, anterior MI, how is that? Yesterday we discussed regarding this circle, right? 1, 2, 3, AVF, AVL, AVR. Okay, this is the one which we discussed. What is happens is in 2, 3 AVF, if the changes are there, then it goes more in favor of inferior MI. If there are changes in one AVL, that goes for anterior per lateral wall MI. This is the most important. 2, 3 AVF goes for inferior and 1 AVL go for anterior or lateral wall MI. If you want to take the chest, okay, cross section, this is the septum and this is your LV. This is your RV. LV. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your V6. This is your V1. Okay. V1 will go for RV MI or it will go for septal also. 1 V2. V2 and V1 will again they will take for septum or anterior. Septum or anterior MI. Then V3, V4. Okay. V5. This V2, V3, V4 you can take it for septo anterior or anteroseptal only or anterior. This is a vague terminology. V5 and V6 you can take it for lateral wall MI. Okay, we will draw one more diagram. Means septum or right side RV per septum. We have got V2, V3 here. So V1, V2, V3. So V2, V3 we can take again here as anterior per septum, whatever it is, because they're overlapping, not very well defined. V4, V5, V6. V3, V4, V5 we can take it as anterior, V5, V6 we can take it as lateral. Any doubt here with this leads? If no doubts, then we'll move ahead. Okay, this is the nomenclature which we usually do here. Okay, and this one also I hope you people understood. This is the most important. One AVL changes are there, it goes for anterior or lateral wall MI, and in case of inferior go for 2, 3 AVF. So if you still want to remember that, like yesterday's diagram, what we did that day, this is the circle and we had a person like this yesterday's diagram. I think you people remember. So there was a diagram like one AVL yesterday when we were discussing. Okay, this is 2, this is 3, this is your AVF, and this is your AVR. So this was the diagram which we discussed yesterday. So simply you can remember as one AVL, it comes on the anterior or lateral aspect of the body or something like that. So it will become for anterolateral, and 2, 3 AVF are on the lower part of the heart basal surface. So you can keep it as inferior MI. Okay, inferior wall MI. So 2, 3 AVF and 1 AVL. So this is the important things we should remember, because all ECGs depend on this only. See, now here we have come to this one only, will come back again. See here, anterior wall infarction is there. So anterior wall, as we discussed, see here, V2, V4, V6. That time, just now we discussed here, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. We can keep it anterior, anterior septum, lateral, whatever it is. So many things you can overlap them. Okay. So based on that overlap, V2, V4, V6, we have got anterior and lateral Q wave infarction. And in the chest leads, what we told, 2, 3 AVF will go for inferior leads. Okay. But whereas 1 and AVL comes for lateral and anterior. See here, you have elevation in 1, you have elevation in AVL. Also we have elevation 2, 3, 4, like 2, 4, 6. So all these will go for anterior and lateral MI. Anterior plus lateral wall MI. The same one we'll see here. 2 is having elevation, 3 is having elevation, AVF is having elevation. Okay, 2, 3, AVF, all three are having elevation. So this will go for, as per the diagram, circle, 3, 2, AVF, 2, 3, AVF. Okay, this goes for inferior wall. Somebody asking something? Inferior, okay. So this is for your inferior wall MI. Now here, what you are going to see here? See this one. What are these? Hyperacute T waves. See, almost they are symmetrical, tall, dented T waves are there. Along with that, if you carefully observe, okay, there is slight elevation in AVL. I think if I zoom, I'll be able to. 1 minute, I'll just see. No. See here, I think I have put this new different only. Here you can see 1 mm slight elevation is there. I think, are you people able to appreciate it? If you are able to appreciate this small elevation, then it is going for your hyperacute T waves. Along with that 1 mm, this only I have zoomed it. So this one only, there is hyperacute T waves. Along with that, you have some elevation in this lead. So it is going for AVL elevation is there. V2, V3, V4, V5, V6 all are having hyperacute T waves. So it goes for what infarction? Anterolateral, yes, because this will come for 1 and AVL comes for anterior or lateral, and V2 to V6 comes for anterior and lateral, anterolateral wall MI. Okay. Somebody asked V5, V6 also slightly elevated, no, more than ST elevation, they have a tall T waves. And one more thing is, when do you call a tall T waves? If the tall T waves are there, what is the criteria? We usually take the preceding QRS complex is there and we have a T wave. If this T wave height is more than 2/3 of the preceding QRS complex, almost here see there is a QRS complex is almost half of the length. So this is double the size. This is almost the 2/3 of the length, right? This if this is 3 cm of QRS complex, I think 2 cm is the T wave. Okay. like that. See here also QRS complex is almost positivity is not there only. There is tall T wave. Here also almost it is negative only, almost like flat T wave, like size is very small, whereas you have got a very big T wave. So size of the T wave is more than 2/3 of the preceding QRS complex, then we'll take it as tall T wave. Here it is almost like nearly 2/3 only. This is here it is like less than half, something like that. Okay. This is the hyperacute T wave. See here, what has happened in this ECG, you can see there is a hyperacute T waves are there. Okay, hyperacute T waves have been formed. After some time, I think duration I don't know, this is the same patient's ECG. Slowly see here, J point was minimally elevated here. Okay, almost not elevated like only. Eventually the J point also started getting elevated. The hyperacute T wave started to change into ST elevation. Okay, this is the evolving MI. Here, a patient was having acute ST elevation MI. See, this is the elevation which you have. This is the baseline. Here, so classical elevations are there. See here, you can see the elevations. Here also the elevations. So V2 to V6, we have elevation. V1 is also there, minimal. It's there, not minimal. It's very prominent only. V1 to V6 elevations are there. Which MI it goes for? It goes for anterior, septum, lateral, everything. Okay. Everything is involved here, V1 to V6. So it will go for like extensive anterior wall MI, you can tell it. So extensive anterior wall MI. Patient was subjected for thrombolysis. So as soon as the thrombolysis was done, the revascularization occurred and all the ST segment elevation got resolved. And eventually it formed a deep inverted T waves have been formed. So this is an evidence of successful thrombolysis. So what is the evidence of successful thrombolysis is after 1 hour of thrombolysis, you get a ECG done. If there is more than 50% decrease in the ST elevation, if this more than 50% of decrease in the ST elevation, then it's for successful thrombolysis. Okay. This one, marking is already done. Which MI it goes for? Two, 3 AVF, it goes for inferior wall MI. Here V4, V5, V6 is elevated. It goes for lateral wall MI or anterior wall MI, anterior bar lateral wall MI. So it is a combination, inferior plus lateral wall MI, or you can tell as inferolateral wall MI. Inferolateral wall MI. Okay. And before we go for next one, I will show you one image. This is the most important thing you should remember for all the MIs which you are diagnosing. See here, whichever lead you are seeing the ST elevations, the corresponding opposite leads you are going to see the ST depressions are there. This is called as reciprocal depressions. This is the characteristics of STEMI. Okay. What are the reciprocal depressions you are seeing in case of limb leads only? That is in case of 1, 2, 3 and AVL, AVF, AVR. AVF, AVL and AVR. So these are the leads which you are having reciprocal depressions. Not in V1 to V6. Okay. V1 to V6 will not have these reciprocal changes and all. Only in case of your limb leads you are going to get. So which are the coupled limbs which you are telling is coupled limb leads are there. So we are going to couple the leads. For example, here 2, 3 AVF. If these 3 leads versus 1 AVL. So if you find AVL 1 AVL elevation, then you will find 2, 3 AVF depression. If this is elevated, this is depressed. If this is elevated, this is depressed. The same we will see in this one ECG. See here, I told there is a coupling, that is 2, 3 AVF versus 1 AVL. Okay, see here, 2, 3 AVF there is elevation. See here, 1 is not having characteristic, but AVL is having depression. Okay. Are you able to make it up? And one more finding is there in this, we will discuss this later on. There is a ST depression in V1 to V2 also. This side also you can see some amount of ST depressions. So these are the changes which you are going to see in this ECG. Okay. So we will go in the next ECGs, like we'll discuss in detail one after the other, like what are the ST changes go for. See now, this one. This is having ST elevation in 2, 3 AVF. ST elevations are there. Now we are going to look for the coupled or reciprocal depressions. See here, one is having depression, AVL is also having depression. This goes characteristic for STEMI. Because there is reciprocal changes are there. Reciprocal changes are characteristic of STEMI. Along with that, do you have any ST elevation? Slight ST elevation is there in V6 also. Okay. Here also you have got ST elevation, V6. Some amount you can tell V5 also, because some amount of changes are there here. So V5, V6 minimal changes you can appreciate. Plus there is ST depression in V1, V2. So two ST depressions are also there again here. Okay, so we have got elevations and depressions here. So what will go for the MI diagnosis now? This is inferior wall is going for 2, 3 AVF. Some amount of V5, V6 is there plus lateral wall. So this is inferolateral wall MI. This V1 and V2 will come again. Okay, why these are having depressions will come. Can anyone tell this? What type of ECG it is and what is the MI here? Already some markings have been done. Clue. Anyone? Anterior and lateral. Okay, anterolateral wall MI. There is reciprocal depression. In this one, you're not able to appreciate in 2. In lead 2, you're not able to appreciate that much. But 3 AVF, you're having reciprocal depression. 1 AVL, you're having ST elevation. And you're also having ST elevation in these all leads. Very prominent. Here also you have 1 mm elevation, but not very prominent. Okay. So this is a characteristic of your anterolateral wall MI. So immediately after this patient was subjected for percutaneous coronary intervention, I told that STEMI is importantly, it should be managed by thrombolysis or PCI, percutaneous coronary intervention. Immediately when the patient was subjected for percutaneous coronary intervention, the patient ST elevation, everything resolved. So you have saved the myocardial damage. Okay. Still you can minimally appreciate here. Okay. Some ECG changes are there, on ectopic beat is there, small complexes are there. There is no P wave at all here. The patient is in junctional rhythm. Okay, we'll come to the rhythm afterwards. Okay. See, these are the group of leads which we are certainly describing. That time I explained to you people. Yeah, V2 elevation still it is there. Percutaneous intervention does not completely resolve. Some amount of V2 elevations will be there. It is like immediately, I told you, successful thrombolysis is elevation decreases by more than 50%. That means that you have done your treatment correctly at the end of 1 hour. So in that we have already almost reduced, almost it was not visible only. So it means a successful percutaneous intervention. See, group of leads which represent the certain areas of heart. V1 and V2, I told it is septum plus right side also it will represent. RV also it will represent. V2 to V4, anterior wall of the LV. Again I told V2 overlaps the septum and anterior wall. So it is both septal and anterior. So V2 becomes septal and anterior. V1 to V3 is anteroseptal. Okay. V4, V5, 1 AVL. Okay. This goes for anterolateral wall. This is a vague like. Okay. That only I told. V1 is right sided plus anterior. You can take septum. Then 2, 3 will take for septum. 4 anterior, 5 anterior, 6 lateral, 4, 5 lateral like that. V4 to V6 lateral wall of the LV. There is V4 to V6 is lateral wall of the LV. V4 overlaps with the anterior and lateral walls of the LV, and it is both an anterior and lateral lead. See, again he tells V4 to V6 is an anterior wall. Again he says it is a lateral wall, so you can take it as anterolateral wall also. So it's just a vague representation of leads. Okay. Then V7 to V9 will discuss this one. It is called as special leads. And V3 to V6 right-sided leads. These are called as right precordial leads. This also we'll discuss now. And if there is ST elevation only in 1 and AVL, okay, only in 1 and AVL only are there, but nowhere else you have ST elevation, then we call it a special entity called as high lateral wall MI. This is called high lateral wall MI. Then lastly 2-3 AVF, as we discussed, it is inferior wall MI. So we'll come to the special leads, whatever I told just now. So what are those special leads means? This is the special leads is there. See, what you do is usually V1 to V6, whatever you combine, right, like that. For example, if the patient is like, I think this I have given ulta, okay, left side should have come, this side would have been more easy for you people to remember. Okay, for example, if this is the, you are seeing from the top now, V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, this is how you have connected, okay. V1, V2, V3 are connected. V6 comes in the mid axillary line. Okay. Now what we do is we remove this 1, 2, 3 and we connect it on the back side like this. So this becomes V6. If this here, V7, V8 and V9. These are the extra leads which you are doing. The same leads you are removing from here and putting them here. This one you are going to make it as V7, V8 and V9. Okay. What happens is, see here, if the patient is having a MI here, okay, posterior wall MI, the V1 and V2 will detect as ST depressions. The same when you change them and change these and bring them back and connect here V8 and V9, they show the ST segment elevation. So here that time we discussed, we had some ST depressions here, right? V1 and V2 were showing ST depressions. We discussed it as inferior wall MI plus anterior and lateral wall MI. These ST depressions we neglected. If we had removed these chest leads from anterior and connected them at the posteriorly, and then if we had seen them, then I think we would have got if we had disconnected them, and then we would have got these elevations in that leads also. So what happens is, if we are going to get ST depression, see here also we have ST depressions are there, V1, V2, V3. This is an indication that there is underlying posterior wall MI. Posterior wall MI will be reflected as, because these are reciprocal leads, right? They are exactly opposite each other. So reciprocal leads, what happens is, one, if there is ST elevation, the opposite will show ST depression. So if there is a V1 and V2 ST elevations are there, ST depressions are there, and it means that there is a underlying, see this is the same thing. If this was V1, then this is V9. Okay, this they have given is lead 3 like here. Okay, the same thing. See, this is a standard 12 lead ECG. What we are going to see here, you see here. In this, there is slight elevation in 2 and slight elevation in AVF, not very clear. Okay, but we have clear ST depressions in V1, V2, V3. What we did is, this is a standard 12 lead ECG we took. We have ST depressions in lead V1 to V3. So we have a doubt that we have inferior, like posterior wall MI, we have something like that. Okay, not inferior, posterior wall MI. Along with that, you have inferior here. 2, 3 AVF is showing inferior. Plus you have suspecting to have a posterior MI. So what you do is, you do that same and you connect these V7. You take the ECG first with V1, V2, V3. Then remove those leads and put them on the back. Make them as V7, V8 and V9. You are able to see ST elevation. Any doubts? The same ST depressions which you had, and you had a doubt that they are posterior wall MI. You confirmed them by placing the V1 as V7, V2 as V8 and V3 as V9. Somebody asked 1 second, what if no elevation in V7 and V8? Then it means that there is N STEMI. N STEMI is ST depression only. There is no reciprocal changes. Then it goes for N STEMI. If these elevations were not found, then it would have been subendocardial ischemia only, not transmural ischemia. Okay. And next. Okay, see, this is how the right-sided precordial leads you are going to put. That was the V7 to V9 which we have put. Okay. N STEMI, which all leads to look for? We will come for N STEMI. Aram se, we are still in STEMI. Okay, we'll come for N STEMI and we'll look for N STEMI next. First, we'll finish the STEMI things. Okay. See, this is the standard leads which you had put: V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. For V7, V8, V9, what we did on the posteriorly, we had put them. No, here V7, V8, V9. So this we had brought them on posteriorly. We had put them. But something we call as right ventricular. This is for posterior MI we did. but we have to look for right sided mi also. Okay, for right sided mi, what we do is v1 v2 we keep the same here, v3 we bring it here, v4 we bring it here, v5 we bring it here, v6 we bring it here. This when we do it, we make a right sided chest leads. So this is called a right sided precordial leads. We do it for the RVMI, right ventricular MI, to look for involvement of right ventricle, because if you are placing anatomically the position of the heart here, this will be your septum somewhere, this is your RV and RA will come here, and this is your LV. So whatever you have put here, V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, it covers only majority of your LV, but right sided heart is neglected. So to compensate for this right sided heart, what we do is 1 and 2 we keep here, remaining all the leads we bring on this side. So these are called as right sided precordial leads. So we have learned different type of leads now. What are the leads now? We have got 1, 2, 3, AVL, AVF, AVR, then V1 to V6 are your standard chest leads. This makes your 12 lead ECG. Then we had something like V7 to V9 as a posterior leads. Then we have V3R to V6R as right sided leads. Any doubt here? If no doubt, I'll give one more new link. I think time up for this one. Okay.